Glad to have you on the program, Daybreak Africa. And now it's time for the interview where our guest will be joining us via Skype. And today we'll be talking about Nigerian immigration and migration, a wheel that keeps hovering. It is in the nature of man to move from one place to another for different reasons, ranging from job opportunities, education, health, security, and for whatever reasons. The first wave of the Japa syndrome, which is a Nigerian slang for immigration, is in the late 70s and 80s, where Nigerians were faced with uncertain future with the military men. And for more recent years now, Nigerians has become one of the fastest growing origin countries for immigrants to the United States, among many other countries outside Nigeria. And to join us to discuss this conversation, Nigerians' migration and immigration, how real that is still hovering, is she's an author, she writes, and she goes by the name Tobi Adewusi. It's a pleasure to have you on the show, ma'am. Good morning to you.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, the pleasure is mine. And yes, we'll be talking about we'll be talking about Nigerian immigration, how real that keeps hovering. It is not more in news that this month alone, or the last 2 or 3 months, a lot of Nigerians have left the country for better reasons. And it is not just the youth alone. We have the medical practitioners, among many other legal professions, among many other professions in the country. Now, I like to ask, because this question has been bothering me for a while now. We know that traveling out of the country is like forcing a camel to pass through the nose of a needle. But yet, Nigerians still go through the stress. What exactly, or why exactly do you think Nigerians still go through the stress to leave the country?
Well, as sad as it is the reality that we are faced with in the country we're in right now. The state of the country, security, unemployment. A lot of people want the best, not only for themselves, but for their generations to come, their children. So they will rather go through that tedious process to get a better life for their loved ones. That's the simple explanation that I will give.
So are we saying the country they are traveling to have little or no problems at all, or challenges they're facing in their country?
Well, not at all. Not at all. Nowhere is perfect. And that's where the reality starts settling in. And well, I always tell people, if you don't plan, if you don't have a plan, you think, okay, because my friend has traveled, that means that something good is waiting for me there. Then a lot of mistaken, because there are a lot of scary stories too about people that have traveled with no plan, and maybe they feel there's money on the streets to be picked up.
Maybe.
And they're living a life of mystery, and they would rather want to come back to their country, but because of shame, or because there's no means of coming back to the country, because it's also expensive to come back to the country. So, and this is where planning, understanding where you are, understanding what you want to do, how to go about it comes in.
So does leaving the country, immigration and migration, does it cause, because here in Lagos we've seen different people, white, from different countries, from Philippines, from Korea, from China, staying in this country, and not just here for a certain, a particular amount of time. They are staying in this country fully. We've seen them in public transport. This is immigration and migration now, but does it cause brain drain or brain gain?
Well, so it causes both. And when we talk about brain drain now, that has a lot to do with the countries that have invested a lot in their citizens. I mean, you have graduates traveling, you have professionals, health professionals traveling. You know, they have been trained, they're already trained here in this country, and they are taking their expertise out to another country. That's brain drain. The country is losing a lot of professionals, is losing manpower, and that's really sad.
But now, as a writer, and obviously you're not in a country, you've seen different things. What are the things you notice? Because if I'm living in the country now, to go out of the country, there will be some things I must go through. There must be a phase I must pass through. So what are those things you've noticed and that have made you put them together into writing? Okay,
so my writing, I usually love writing about realities of life.
Beautiful.
From the African woman's perspective, and I write about the family. You can't, as a family unit, say we want to relocate when the foundation is faulty. Relocating will not help the family to become better. It will not unite the family. Because the moment you relocate, you're starting your life all over again, basically. You're coming to a strange, I call it a strange land. You're coming to a strange land. You're starting everything all over again. So if the foundation is faulty, then nothing good will happen. So traveling out is not the solution. The really reason why you have to travel out when you think about when you want to relocate is, oh, you're concerned about the safety of your children. Yes. The security of this country is not good. Or maybe you feel you do better with your skill over there where you're going to. Then it makes sense. But if it's because you're escaping family problems here, then you're going to still face the same problems over there. So it has to be well planned. It has to be, you need to understand what you want to do, where you're going to, and what is obtainable for you over there.
Of the truth, now I like to divert a little bit from immigration and migration. At the moment, we have little or few writers, and most of the book we read now, most of the book they read in institutions and secondary and primary schools, they are book written in the late 90s or book written in the early 2000s. Is it that there are no writers anymore in the country, or there's nothing to motivate people, or people don't just like writing anymore? Because me, I've not seen a 2022 released book, and this is September.
Oh, no, I disagree with you on that. There are books being released. I mean, I wrote my first book 2020, my very first book, and I just released a new book this year. Right, people are writing. The only issue here is the fact that, there's always this mindset that when you want to hide something from an African man, put it in a book.
Hide it in a book.
Just put it in a book. But the truth of the matter is, as that saying is, there's also we shall also have a set of people that love to read. They might not be the majority, but we have them. And the number of people we have is more than enough. The people are writing. I mean, people are writing about the situation of the country. People are writing for entertainment purposes. Like I love to write for reality of life, but you can enjoy the writing. When you're reading, you can imagine what I'm writing about, and you're like, okay, I can resonate with what she's talking about because it has happened to me, or it has happened to someone I know. So people are writing, yes.
Okay, now people are writing, but are we take it from the perspective that people are writing more on social media because of the truth? The one that have left hard copy and now moved to soft copy. Yes, but do you think children, youth, young adults still have reading culture?
That is where the problem is. Because the culture now is all our children now, they all have a phone. They'll rather just, have phones 24/7 than open a book to read. Now, what we've done in our own, my husband made sure that he bought hard copies, and there's always a reward for the child that reads the most. I mean, parents need to invest more in their children because, yes, we know that we have our mobile phone. We know it's the world of social media, but we can't let go of this important thing, reading. Reading. I said, leaders are readers, and that and I would not also forget the fact that we have online books. Like my books are online. I have books, the online version and the hard ebooks and the hard copy. Thank you. So there are other options out there, but there's also the art book. It's always fun to read the art book. You do your markings. You can on it and read. So yes, the culture is dying, and we need to save it. It's very important, especially for parents. It's something we need to do. We need to help our children to embrace this culture of reading.
So how do we promote reading culture among adults, to be precise? Don't let us go to the children now because they are still flexible, but the adults, they are at a stage whereby their flexibility rate is a bit low. So how do you promote reading culture among young adults and adults?
Well, the only way I can say that the only suggestion I can give right now is if there's something very important in that book, they need to go read it.
Okay.
Because it's like you trying to, when a fish is roasted and you're trying to cut it, what happens? It breaks. So adults that don't like reading, the only thing we can do is to keep on encouraging them. There's really nothing more we can do. Just keep encouraging them. They have seen lives of people that read how their lives are better. There's no way you read from other people's experiences that you will not live a better life. You're adding to your own wealth of knowledge. Yes, you're adding to your own wealth of knowledge, and that's basically what is it.
Now let's go back to the point of to the bone of contention, which is the wheel which is hovering now. I'm very sure I saw a tweet online where the person was just joking though, but in a way there's every truth. There's a truth in his cruise. He said more than 1 billion people left country this September, and of a truth, you will agree with me that 1 billion too is exaggerating things, obviously, but you will agree with me that let's say 100 too we also leave before the end of this year. What do you think we can do to stem the tide of people leaving our country to go to other countries? Because in a way, it is brain drain for us. There was one tweet I also saw where people said, come 2023, only native doctors will be left in Nigeria because all our best hands in the tech industry, in the medical world, in the legal profession, they are leaving the country. What can we do as an individual, as a government, as a pressman to help stem the tide of people leaving our country for better countries?
So what I would say is people leaving is not the problem. It is a symptom of a problem.
Okay, so, symptom of a problem?
Symptom of a problem. So now the question is, what really is the problem? We leave that to our policymakers to make sure that they do the right thing. If we experience half of what people go out there to experience, I'm sure no one will leave Nigeria. Nigeria is a beautiful country.
Yes,
our weather is beautiful.
A land filled with milk and honey.
Best culture you can think about. I mean, you miss home anywhere you are. You will always miss home. But then, is that enough for people? People are dying every day. The security situation in the country is really bad, and it's getting worse. Our leaders they don't even care about what is happening to people. So everyone, it's each man for himself now. That's what is happening in the country. So policymakers, they need to get back to the drawing board and do the right thing. Because if our doctors are being paid what suits them, what can benefit them, they won't leave this country. If our lawyers are being appreciated, they won't leave this country. And other professionals, our IT guys, if they are doing the best they can, if they are being appreciated, if they are getting the jobs, they won't leave the country. They are needed out there. They know these other countries, they need us. And you can imagine the manpower that we're giving to other countries when we need them here. So our policymakers, it's really on them. They need to do the right thing.
Is there any positive impact to this?
Well, the only positive impact I would say is when you leave the country, you go to another country and you learn the new way of doing things, the innovative way of doing things, and you come back home to your country to make sure that this is done there, then, oh yeah, that's a good impact there. And we've seen examples of people come back home, to make things right. But they're very few. We don't have a lot of that. But that's just the only impact I can say that can benefit the country, if I get that question right.
Okay, well, let's analyze. I really want us to be practical right now, because there are different people out there watching us. People that have given up on the country, people that still have little hope in the country, people that they believe that, oh, my blessing, my prosperity does not exist on the land of Nigeria, but outside the country. What can you say to motivate this class of people? Many Nigerians right now, both the smart children that are still growing, they believe, oh, at age 20, I want to leave the country. My parents has told me that, oh, there's nothing good on this land. How do we motivate them? What word of advice or motivation do you have for them? Because right now, everybody wants to leave, regardless of how tight living the country is.
The word of motivation I would give to them is for them to look inwards first. Like a friend said, quiet your mind and listen to yourself first. Understand, do I really need to go? Why do I need to go? These are the questions you need to ask yourself. If really the answer is yes, nobody's holding you back. Make the decision. But if the answer is no, then what is in? Because as we say, okay, the country is bad, the country is not moving forward, people are succeeding in the country. And I'll tell you for a fact, I'm a businesswoman. To be a business person, Nigeria is the best place to run your business. You know, so there are so many other things, opportunities in Nigeria that a lot of people are overlooking, and we're only focusing on other aspects, which is security. It's very important. Yeah. It's highly important, my sister, because if there is no security, you can't have the mind to think about your business or what you want to do, if you understand what I mean. So it's about them to quiet their mind and listen to themselves. What really do you want to do? What are your goals? What are your visions? What do you want to achieve? If what you want to achieve can be achievable here in the country, then why not go for it? But if you really need to travel, then please do. No one is holding you back.
Definitely. You said the other time that every country has their own challenges. Can you please take a little bit of the challenges in the country you are presently? Maybe it will, in a way, discourage the mind of people and make them sit back in this country.
Yeah, that's part of the things I noted out in my book.
Okay.
A lot of challenges. And it has to do with, number one, our skin color, whether we like it or not.
Racism?
It's one of the major things, yes. I've not experienced it. I think it also has to do with your mindset too, because a lot of people come to this country with the mindset of they are racist here, and then before you know it, that's what you'll be experiencing. So I always tell people, quiet your mind about that and focus on what you have to do. But then we also have people on the roads, homeless people on the roads, begging for food. So it's not like it's rosy for everyone out there, right? And so many other things that, well, when it comes to friendship, when it comes to the culture we have in Nigeria, you can just go and knock on your neighbor's door and say, hello, how are you?
Yes.
You know, that is not possible here. So that's where you see people being depressed. You know, I talked about this in my book when my husband said, it's time to go. And I said, I'm not going to that place. Everybody's depressed there. So, you know, these are the things that happen here that a lot of people don't consider. If you're not married, is this the best time for you to come over? If you're looking at, you know, settling down anytime soon, is this the best time for you to, you know, relocate? So there are so many things you need to look at, you know, before you make that decision.
We're finally wrapping the interview. We finally come to the end of the interview. But then, what advice do you have to the government, both the local level, local government chairman, the state governors, and the president of the country? Because come 2023, we will be handing over power, or we'll be changing power, or having a continuation of power. What advice do you have for them at the upper chamber?
Well, they should look at the statistics. It's scary right now.
It is very scary. It is very, very scary.
I was looking at the number of people that we have in the U.S. alone. We have over 2 million Nigerians.
2 million Nigerians. Wow, that's quite appalling.
And 20,000 are medical professionals.
Wow.
Another 10,000 in the IT world professionals out of this country, you know, doing well, way better.
This is the perfect time for brain drain.
Brain drain. In fact, when I was looking at the percentage of, you know, countries that are experiencing brain drain, sorry about that, Ethiopia is number 1. Nigeria is the 2nd. So there is the government has a lot to do. You know, they just have to go back to the drawing board, understand what they're doing wrong, and get it right.
Honestly, I say a very big thank you to you for shedding more light on Nigerians leaving our country to go to another country.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
It's an honor to be here.
Thank you very much. Yes, viewers at home, we've heard it all from Tobi Adewusi. She talked about the challenges in another country, and she also talked about what we Nigerians go through, because there are also Nigerians on the street, just like we have here in Nigeria. There are also Nigerians outside there who are not making it big. But then, you know what's best for you. If you want to stay in this country, a landfill will make an earning. Do well to stay in this country. And if you want to leave the country to go to a better country, you know what is best for you. With this as well, we wrap up the interview segment. So go on a short break and return with the concluding part of the program. Don't you go anywhere.